Hello, I'm Charles Alcock, and this is AIN TV. You've found us in the cabin of a Gulfstream G650. A wonderful place to be, but for once we're not here to talk about the interior, as comfortable as that is. I'm sitting next to Tom Horne. Tom, you're a senior experimental test pilot with Gulfstream Aerospace, and I understand they've let you out to play a bit. You've just been on a very exciting mission to really stretch this G650 and prove to people just what it can do to earn its living. Tell us a bit about this mission. What did you set out to achieve?
Well, Charles, we wanted to go around the world westbound, and we wanted to do it, make a record flight out of it. So that's what we were doing, is around the world westbound in the category C1L, land plane in the weight category L. So that's what we accomplished. It was in July, early July, and we were successful, very successful.
And that involved flying around the world westbound. What sort of legs were you flying? What sort of speeds and distances did you attain?
Well, overall, we ended up with a 20,310 miles, and we had to go at least 19,800 miles to call it a world record. And we averaged a speed of 494 knots for the whole trip, and that includes stopping for refueling. So that time counts for the record also.
And tell us, roughly speaking, what the itinerary was. I'm guessing you started in Savannah. Where else would you start?
We started in Savannah, yes, to position some of our pilots to San Diego, and we launched from Brownfield in San Diego. We did that about 9 o'clock at night, and our first leg was at night, and we landed in Guam and refueled at night there. And the next leg was into Dubai World, and from there we went to Cape Verde Islands, just northwest of Africa, and from there back to San Diego.
Were some legs a lot longer than others? What was probably the longest leg you did?
The longest leg was about 10 hours, and I believe it was 29 minutes, and the shortest was about 8 hours and 52 minutes. So they averaged about the same, and we had planned it that way.
And of course the G650 was designed as a long-range business jet. It was designed to let your customers globe hop as they need to get their business done. Do you think a mission like this proves that point? It proves you can set out and just go around the world pretty much at will with the right planning?
Yes, sir. The airplane was flawless in its performance. We had no issues with the airplane, and we set out to do the world record. Everything went as planned. A lot of planning went into it. We had about 30 people at Gulfstream heavily involved in the planning. We did dress rehearsals of the refueling. We had videotapes. We trained people. We pre-positioned technicians. So we had all that going for us. So when it came to the execution, we just ended up executing the plan, and it worked very well. And for the customers, the airplane was not modified at all. So we took a stock airplane and we flew it around the world, and it performed flawless. We had 5 pilots, and we time shared in the cockpit, and it went off exactly as we planned it.
So it is a very real exercise for your customers. It's not a question of, oh, take a bunch of ultra smart test pilots and let them do something extreme in it. This was a real world experience.
It's a real world experience, yes it was, and it was a very comfortable one. We flew to get the highest winds. You know, we're going against the wind pretty much, going westbound, but we flew at the altitudes to give us the best ground speed, and we took advantage of the winds when we could. And it proved a very good record. I mean, 494 knots all the way around the world for 41 hours and 7 minutes. That's pretty neat. We were constantly updating the winds, the weather, the turns, the people on the ground. We were constant communication all around the world. And in fact, we were using the data link features so that the need for voice communications was fairly minimized for a lot of that. But it was very successful.
And how is the pilot workload in a cockpit like the one you've got here? I mean, I know avionics engineers these days, they're worrying about pilot workload. How can we reduce stress? How can we reduce, you know, decision fatigue, whatever you want to call it? From your point of view as a working pilot, how is that cockpit?
You know, the cockpit is neat because there are a lot of things that help the pilot do his job. It doesn't give him a lot of just data. It gives him information that he needs at the time he needs it to do his job. And there's a lot of situational awareness that's designed into the system. We have synthetic vision, we have enhanced vision, we have a lot of things that are safety features, but they're also there to make the pilot feel as comfortable as he can with his own natural vision that he uses every day. And so he doesn't have to interpret what he sees on the displays and put his mind in that place. The same thing with the charts. We have charts that show you where you're at the whole time. You can rapidly zoom in, you can zoom out, you can get data on airports, and you can get the uplink weather. You can also pull up your approach charts. And so the workload is very reduced, but it gives the pilots things at their fingertips, very easy to get to them. So if something were to go wrong, or if you did need to divert because of weather or something like that, it's very easy to do. And even if you've been flying for a long time, it doesn't overwhelm you. It doesn't push you over that workload barrier.
That's exceptional. Well, what an exciting mission for you, Tom. And it sounds to me as if you were given another chance, you'd go around the world again, I'm guessing.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, maybe. Well, Tom, there must be many pilots here at the NBAA show this week who'd be very envious of the job you've got. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was fascinating. Reporting from the cabin of a G650. I don't get to do this every day. I'm Charles Alcock. Thank you for watching AIN TV.